Hey, everybody, welcome to the Angular stream. We are so happy to be here in the building. Let's see where people are coming from. Put it down in the chat. Let us know what's going on. Oh, we got Lars in the building. Lars is always here, and we're always so grateful for you. You said good evening. Lars, if you're comfortable sharing where you're based out of. And then let's see, Emmanuel. Okay, let's see you. Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you. We're waiting on Jeremy to join us. He'll be here soon. He's busy. Being the Angular Uber TL is a busy thing. Okay, let's see. In the building, we got Pavel. Pavel was good. I didn't know you watched the stream, Pavel. Wow. Wow, wow. Pavel in the building. Okay, let's see. Alcatraz 01, let's go. Good to see you as always. You be in the building. One thing I like about you is that you keep it real. You do not hold any punches, which is great. I love it. I love it. Misha, what's going on? Good to see you. Vetri, what's going on? Nishant in the building. Safe, what's up? What's up? What's up? Marcus, hi from Canada. Hello, hello. Raj in the building. Happy to learn new things. If you want to learn some new things about Angular, one of the best ways to do that is to check out angular.dev. Definitely check out angular.dev. That's pretty dope. Oh, is that the same Nisha? Okay, Nisha, you're saying you're from India. Got you. Good to have you. Resnor, what's going on? Good to see you as always. Sounds good. Sounds good. So many people. I guess Sravan, okay. From Côte d'Ivoire, bonjour, comment ça va? Thank you for coming by. Good to have you. Let's see. Oh, now everybody's typing fast. Now I can't keep up. You see that? Alexander in the building. What's going on? Let's see. Josh, hello. Pankaj, hello, 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 hello. Jonata, what up though? How are you? Good to have you. All right, let's see. Kodapai, good to see you. Antonio, good to see you. Welcome. Hello from Spain. Hola de España. Hello, hello, hello. Good to have you. Yo, Tayamba in the building. Tayamba is always in the streets. Good to have you as well. Good to have you as well. Good to have you. Okay, Jeremy just sent me a message saying that he's going to be running a little bit late. So we might just be hanging out together. And then if Jeremy doesn't come, what should I do? What should I do if Jeremy doesn't come? Let me know what you think. Hola, Linear. Hello, hello, hello. Hola, ¿cómo está? Good to see you. Good to see you. Steve, all the way from Colorado, is going on. Steve, do y'all got some snow going on in there? Let me know if you got some snow in Colorado. Alak, hello. Alak with a cool picture. I see you. Look at that. Okay, Vishal, hello. New here to contribute in open source and Angular. Hey, one thing that is super great to do right now, and I tell this to a lot of people because I mentor some people, and they ask me like, what can I do to continue to improve my coding skills? What can I do in general? And I usually tell people spend some time contributing to open source. And angular.dev is brand new. If you see something like a typo or you think you can improve our documentation somehow, that's a great place to start. If you go to our GitHub, we have some issues that are marked as a new issue or great for new folks to happen. So you can check that stuff out. Oh, so many people. Hold on, wait, I missed so many of you. Evgeny, what's going on? Hola, good to see you. ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenido. And that's hello from Turkey. Let's go. Hat without the Angular logo. I don't have an Angular logo hat, but my hat says, be well, friends, because I want you to be well. Josue, ¿cómo está? Bien, 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 bien. Come on, let's see. Bonjour, comment ça va? 212, bonjour, comment ça va? Okay, we got Kalispa from Kalispera. Okay, from Greece. Wow, Nicholas K, let's go. Wait, we got somebody. We got somebody else we got to bring in here. Somebody special. You ready for this? The one, the only. Actually, I'm not going to bring this person onto the stream until I see some applause and drum rolls in the chat. Drum rolls in the chat. I need the drum rolls and the applause before I can bring this next person onto the stream. All right, put those drum roll and applause. Okay, let's do that. So many people. Oh, from Denmark. Let's go, Lars. Let's go. Definitely snow here, Rob LaChapelle. I wonder where that's coming from. All right, I see the drum rolls. Net. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Please welcome the one, the only Uber TL, the Angular team, Mr. Jeremy Elbourn. Hello, welcome to the
Only
show.
me. I'm here every time. You know what it actually was is my Chrome got into a weird state where it wouldn't load anything. I'm trying to figure out why I can't get anything to load, and I tried it in Firefox, and it's like, oh, this is fine. It just restarted the browser.
There you go. Chrome messing you up today. I don't know what's going on. Look, we got so many people like putting drums in here, and I love that. Thank you all for doing that because it makes Jeremy feel super welcome, and he's so glad. There's so many people. ID's from Sweden, and if I didn't say hello to you, friends, I'm just gonna tell you, we are greeting you everywhere. It's 2 a.m. in Vietnam. Hi guys, it's cold as F. Hey, listen, I get it. Emmanuel, that is not true. Chrome is a pretty fantastic browser. Okay. Wow. So many people. A lot of fun. This is the end of the year for us in the US this December. So it's our winter and it's the end of the calendar year for us. And it's, I guess, the end of the year for everyone. But, you know, I don't know if there are any other like regions where the work cycle is different than ours. But like this is definitely end of year for us in the US.
Definitely. I think there's a different New Year celebration timing for some folks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. It got to be something like that. But yeah, and I think that I can speak for all of us and say that we're tired. It's been a busy last 6 months, and I think we're all like tired.
V17 was a lot.
Yeah. So Jeremy, before we do anything else, I think it'd be fun to let people like in on a little bit of our like conversations that we can share publicly. And I remember one of those that we were talking about was how are we going to follow up V16? And we were so concerned that we were going to like over promise and under deliver because V16 had so much cool stuff. We launched signals, we made standalone components stable, right? And there's just so much. We're like, what are we going to do next? And then V17 came and was just like bananas.
Yeah, it was a lot. We got a lot out there. A lot is developer preview, so we still have a lot of work to get those things out of developer preview and making sure they're stable, making sure we're listening to people's feedback. I think definitely we don't want to set the expectation in people's mind that like every Angular major release for all time is going to be bigger than the previous one.
Right.
That's not sustainable.
No, and I don't think that's not even the right attitude either from like a software development point of view. Because what I think that we all agree on is we want to continue to make the best tool for our community, and whatever that looks like. Right? Sometimes it'll look like major features and rewrites of some things, or in new syntax, and sometimes it'll be stability updates. Right? Like it'll just vary in its implementation, but that is our core directive of continue to make the best like framework for our community.
Yeah. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you filled out your state of JavaScript survey yet?
Oh, good question. Let's ask the streets about that. State of JavaScript. How would you all feel about getting on there, and then if you're part of the Angular community, leaving some honest feedback on there? We think that'd be super fantastic. Can we get the link for that? For the state of JavaScript, we got a friend
Kevin. And you search for
no, we're gonna help them. We're gonna put in chat. Our fantastic producer in the background, Kevin Callanan, is gonna help us find a state of JS survey and put it in the chat for us.
You didn't answer my question though. Have you done it yet?
Why are you asking that?
I haven't done it yet either. I'm gonna do it later today.
I will do it. I'm doing so much stuff. This is really interesting. We got some other stuff coming up for the end of the year. The year's not over for us in terms of like still putting out some things. I am doing a front end masters workshop next week. And that's a big prep time, lots of effort into that. So that'd be good. And then we'll be, gearing up. What do you want to see, Jeremy, next year for the stream?
I want to play more games. I wanted to start this stream as just an excuse to play games during work, and then we just started coding during them. What are we doing?
I did that for you. Jeremy, because I know that as UberTL, you don't get a lot of heads down coding time because you're wanted by everyone in your opinion. So I was like, you know what? Maybe on the stream he can code and have some fun. So, but yeah, more games. I want to practice building some more games though. Maybe next year. I really had a lot of fun when we would do our like challenges of trying to build like a simple board game or like play a turn-based game.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with those, even though I had a couple of like spectacular like crashes where we couldn't finish in time. But it was still a lot of fun.
I think once we have some of the more integrated signal stuff that we're
Yeah.
working on, once some of that is available, I would be amenable to sitting down and coding some stuff up with that. Maybe we revisit some of our old ideas and be like, all right,
Ooh.
now let's do Minesweeper with signals and see how different is that.
I am never revisiting the game engine. I will tell y'all that now. I'm never revisiting that. Because in my mind, what I wanted you to be able to do is provide your own components. And I give you like a game board and you provide the components. You know what I mean? And then you could develop your own game. And those would be the tiles. That's what I wanted. But that was way more ambitious than I thought it would be.
Yeah, we need a little more prep for something like that.
Yeah. Well, all right. We got some questions that we can start to answer now.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna play a game. The live stream says coding, but I'm not doing any coding. It's December.
I'm not coding.
I'm checked out already.
I am still doing so much other stuff right now to prepare for my workshop next week that I'm not coding. But we can play a game. If you have your game thing hooked up, let's do it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you some options. I got a little gator game here. Little gator game.
Okay.
I haven't played that before. I got Dave the Diver. Does fishing count as violence?
Fishing does not count as violence. That game has some other parts to it.
Oh, does it? Not a good stream game.
I mean, I don't know how far you get until you get to the other parts.
I haven't played it yet.
Okay, yeah, no. It has some stuff.
Okay, let's go with little gator game.
Yeah, let's do little gator game. Speaking of games, before we get to some questions, the game that I'm playing right now, I finished this game already, and then my child has taken like an obsession with it, which is Zelda Breath of the Wild. I finished it in 2018, I think. And it's still so solid and so good that playing it in 2023, it is still a good experience, which really speaks to the testament of like how good of a quality of like engineering feat that game is. But yeah, he keeps watching YouTube videos and then he's like, Dad, can we go to the place where we can get the armor that makes you swim faster? But I'm like, hey, I actually beat this before, so let's go do this other thing first. He's like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to go get the armor. And I'm like, come on, bud, like let's just do the other stuff. Like go raid the castle early because you can get the like 99 shield if you can get to the castle early, right? And go through the back sneak entrance. So
yeah, I love doing that. Sneaking into the little castle early, grabbing all the good weapons.
Right, exactly. And I'm trying to show him, but it's kind of hard. Okay, let's answer some questions while you're setting up and sharing your screen.
Yeah, I was just getting the settings all right here.
All right, I'm sharing your screen right now. The little gator game. Okay, so I need some source to learn about Bazel and its workspace in Angular.
So that I can answer. We actually aren't really investing in Bazel with Angular anymore as kind of an offering for other people to use. We do still use Bazel for ourselves on the Angular repo and Angular components repo and whatnot. But what we there's a lot of reasons behind this. But what we found is that most web developers have certain expectations on how little they need to do for their build setup. So people are used to things like Webpack or what's the newer stuff like ESBuild and TurboPack and whatever else.
Sure.
And there are certain like expectations about how those work and things that people are used to. And Bazel is just very different from those things, right? Like it's kind of a lot more foreign than what people are used to, where you get kind of some really great qualities with a full build system like Bazel with its hermeticity and like you can do remote builds and they're
what does
very
that word mean?
adaptable.
Hermeticity?
Hermeticity, yeah.
Hermetic.
So what that means is like builds are hermetic in that the only things that can impact your build are your explicitly listed dependencies. And that's just like absolutely not the case in a lot of build tools out there, like especially things like Webpack, where it's looking at everything on your file system. Whereas with Bazel, you're explicitly declaring your dependencies and saying, these are the inputs to this build action, and these are the outputs I'm expecting from this build action. And we found that like a lot of web developers just kind of found that too burdensome or too boilerplatey or whatever else. And they didn't really see the value proposition of going through all of that work to set up that build system when like it's additional work to set up that kind of remote build execution and getting the benefits of the cacheability and the predictability of that hermetic build system. And so we never we got to a certain point with that Bazel support, and we didn't think developers were really interested enough to take it further.
Okay, sounds good. How is my quality? Because I just realized I'm running off of Wi-Fi and I'm not doing hardline for this one. I think it got like messed up before. So if I start lagging out, you just say something and I'll figure out how to get my hardline set up again. All right, good. All right, let's see. Nin Jedi in the building. What's going on, Nin Jedi? Good to have you. So do we have an Angular mascot yet? I know Flutter does. We have NG. Did you go to angular.dev? Here, I'm gonna put a link in the chat. I want you to go to angular.dev. And then I think if you go to playground and then the mini game and run the mini game in the playground, and then you'll meet somebody if you can do it right. Here, run the mini game here. Yeah. Yeah, check that out. All right. Hello from Haiti. Bonjour. Good to have you. Stopwatch. Okay. Stopwatch. Blue hand. Juan Garcia. Thank you. Here's a good question for you, Jeremy. Let's go. I want to understand this. Post binding class dot valid. Valid equals valid signal. It's not working with signals.
What does not working mean? Does it throw an error? Does it not do what you expect it to do?
Let us know, John. Comment again. Here's Vishal says, thank you to the Angular team for NG17. Hey, we're very glad that you all are liking it.
Yeah, Mark, we need to enter in a name here for our character, the character that our character is playing.
Our character is playing a game?
Yeah, so he's playing a make-believe game. So what is the character he's even pretending to be in this make-believe game?
Oh yeah, his the name is Charlie.
Charlie. Okay. You sure?
Yeah, sure. We're gonna be Charlie.
You know what a funnier name?
I can't think of one.
I'm
looking around my office right now.
How about Blanc?
Never would have got that.
Or there's always the classic, my dude. We're gonna go with my dude.
Go with my dude.
It's a classic GDQ.
My dude, I am my dude. Pleasure to meet you, my dude. That's pretty funny. So wait, I remember when Final Fantasy VII first came out, way back when I was in high school. I remember that there was a friend of mine, because you could name all the characters back then, and he named all his characters from the Bad Boy record label. Right? So he just took artists, and it was pretty good. Yo, Mark, when's Material V3 coming? I can't wait any longer.
The team's working on it.
Yeah,
it's in progress. Yeah, everyone's working as hard as they can.
Yep. Let's see. Here's something else from Nikita Kun one, or is it Kuni with the one? I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. Hey, just wanted to let you know that Angular is the single best framework for web apps, hands down. Thanks for all your hard work compared to React is such a pain. Hey, we're not talking about React to say that we're great though, right? Like if you're enjoying this, we can say that you're just enjoying Angular, which we're happy to hear that. So glad. What's your favorite feature right now?
Well, I want to like also mention, like we've talked about this before on the stream, right? Like, we work on Angular and we like Angular a lot, but like other web frameworks are great too,
Yeah.
right? They're all good.
And all
Everything is good.
like a React dev could come on and be like, I can do 10 things, and I love about React. And I would probably be like, yeah, those are 10 really great things, right?
Yeah.
And
And
et
there's
cetera.
I feel like a lot of developers get caught up in like, what's the best framework or what's the best library for this or what's that? Like, yeah, in software engineering, there is no bests, right? Everything is a set of trade-offs, and there's no such thing as like the best solution for every problem everywhere. And so, we hope to be a very good solution for a lot of developers, but well, it's fine. Like, different solutions are good at different things, and that's okay. And that will always be the case.
Totally agree. Nicholas K says, can we cover a couple things? Why go back to standalone after teaching devs to use the modular approach for 7 years now? And two, are signals a good choice or is it a desperate try to? I'm not laughing at you, Nicholas. I'm laughing at the comments. Okay. Let me be super clear. The comment is a good comment. It's a good question. But so here's the thing that you have to do whenever you are a public facing person. You have to really learn to just like read things and see things and just not like, be able to laugh at it because it can be really funny. Even if it's meant and no matter which way it's meant, it can still be funny. So I just laugh at it. So it's not like a personal thing to you, Nicholas. Okay, let's talk about number one. Why go back to standalone? Well, we didn't go back to standalone, right?
Well, yes, we are actually in the early versions of Angular, in the kind of like Angular Alpha. And even in some of the RCs, it worked exactly the way that standalone components works today.
Oh, so why did we go back then to that pattern? Or how about this? Here's a better question, Jeremy. What do we know now that we didn't know then?
The costs of supporting ng modules.
Yeah.
Right. So there is this, how do I it's a complicated topic. So there is a benefit to kind of the simplicity of your build graph when the component is able to reference the other components that it depends on directly. And that extra indirection that ng modules have requires non-local builds. So if you have been wondering, like, hey, why can't Angular use Vite for its builds? We currently use Vite for its dev server, but but we don't use it for building. And why is that? And like, well, ng modules are kind of the reason why, is because Vite is kind of relies on this notion of that you can do file by file compilation, so that like you can have an input file change, compile that file, and output that file without having to have knowledge of things in other files. And that's just not the case with ng modules,
right?
Because if you were to change other components within the same ng module, that could change how that component template is interpreted and rendered. And so there's kind of this underlying complexity in the build system that needs to happen to support ng modules that limits how fast and how simple builds can be. And so standalone is kind of a move in a direction that, makes that a little bit easier to deal with over time. And there's also, I say indirection, right? Like even from a developer experience standpoint, ng modules are very opaque, and it can be surprising to know which like directives or components are like in an ng module. Like you don't really have a lot of insight into what's going on there. And so there is, some developer experience advantage to using standalone components. And I think like we've just kind of seen that play out over the course of many years. Now, that's not to say like there aren't trade-offs here, right? We know that there's always trade-offs. And yes, like with standalone components, sometimes it gets a little bit clunkier when you have to say like, let's take something like mat select, right? You want to use mat select. It's like, okay, well now you're importing mat select, you're importing mat form field, you're importing mat option, you're importing mat label, which goes into the form field. And so it's like, oh, well now there's like 4 things I need to reference instead of just like mat select module. And yeah, that's a little bit more boilerplate. It's a trade-off for the kind of the other benefits that you're getting from standalone. And we definitely see that boilerplate, and we know that's a point of friction, and we're still thinking about like how can we, update our authoring experience to make that easier and get rid of that friction in the future. But we really just can take baby steps towards getting there, right? Like incremental steps, not trying to rewrite the world.
I make no commitment to not rewrite the world. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So signals though. So are signals a good choice, or is it a desperate attempt to evolve? So I think this question is interesting because signals turns out to be a good choice based on what we know now. So if you take this from the context of what we know now, right, versus what we know then, again, it kind of go back to what Jeremy said about the cost of like maintaining applications and the cost of providing a performance experience. Like this gives us a way to do that versus what we have now with the zone-based change detection. And I think that this creates a different way. So I don't know if it's a desperate attempt to evolve. I think this just gives us a better way to do it. But guess what, Nicholas, with both of these things, you actually do not have to change. So if you prefer to use modules, okay, go for it. We still support modules. And if you don't want to use signals, you do not.
Yeah, I also want to talk about on the signals part of that question. I very highly recommend going back and watching the NGConf talk that myself and Alex Rickabaugh gave a couple of years ago called Angular, a design review 10 years later, where we really get into some of the details about why, what we've learned about having Angular in production applications and seeing the way people use it and the things that work well and the things that don't work well over 10 years. And signals is very much a result of the lessons we have learned over that time. And we think it represents one of the very best ways we can improve the overall developer experience and the performance characteristics of Angular applications.
Yeah, and then we put the link in the chat as well. So if you want to see that, you can go ahead and catch up with that. All right.
With these long, in-depth answers, I'm not getting to play the game very much.
I know. Well, that's you. You get to choose how much you disclose. Oh, that will be Alcatraz. I love this. I totally love this. Jeremy, listen to this idea. Have a showcase of viewers' pet projects. I would love for us to look at the things that you all have built. All we got to do is figure out how we can gather those links. Maybe on X or Twitter, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe we'll put something there, and then we'll ask you to drop your GitHub links.
Yeah, I deleted my Twitter account.
I know you did, but we have an official account that we can probably leverage. I love this. I want to take a note of this. I love this. This is such a good idea, Alcatraz, and I'm going to remember this. Remember this moment. I'm going to say, man, our good friend from the friend of the stream, Alcatraz, said, do this. I'm taking notes right now because this is such a great idea. Thank you so much. But we will not do code reviews. No code reviews. We'll just look at what you made, because that can go the wrong way if we review your code. We don't want people to feel like bad if we're like, oh, hey, this could be done better, right? Like we won't do that, but we will look at what you've made. Good feedback. I love it. I love it. Place. Benjamin says, play some Counter-Strike too. We are a violence-free stream. Thank you. No violence. I know, and that has pushed us to be creative. With limitations comes creativity, and we have had to get really creative. Maybe no, we can't play that game. I was gonna say, what if we could play the Brothers game, where you have to but I think that's a single player game with the 2 analog sticks on PS. So we could probably play that game.
I think it's a co-op game, but it's also, I think, somewhat violent.
The Brothers game? Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna have to find another game. We're gonna find some though. Recommend us non-violent games. Signal Store. We won't make it. It doesn't NGRX make a Signal Store or something like that?
What's the? Oh, I see.
Wait, Jeremy, hold on. Let's just stop for questions for a second. What are you doing
in this game?
Uh-huh.
I'm a small child who's going and playing with friends, and I'm not really. Look, I haven't been following the thread so closely. Let's see. So I have to go find a sword, which is going to be like a cardboard sword. All right, the sword is deep in the forest.
That sounds violent. We might have to cut this
Oh
off.
no, this is all
I was kidding.
it's all play pretend.
Yeah, all right. You said sword. I don't know. Hey, thanks so much for the love.
See, a little...
Rajesh Kar, thank you so much. Rajesh Kar. I'm sorry. I do not mean to mispronounce your name. I was just seeing if I could do my best.
Ooh,
But thanks for the support.
Can't climb trees very well.
Oh, here's a good question from Lanier. Will NG Zone resist more than 2 versions?
Yes. It will exist for longer than...
And let me speak to this, why it, things like modules and zones will exist for some time. We really do our best to make our upgrades backwards compatible so you can opt into changes, because we understand that there's so much work that you folks have built that you cannot migrate overnight or even quickly, or you might even have the desire to migrate it. Either way, was that an arrow somebody shot at you that whizzed past your head?
I think that was just a leaf.
I was like, what was that? Anyway, so we really try to think about that and keep support there. The Firebase does not support Angular v17 yet. Oh, the Angular file library. I think the Firebase team is working on an update to get compatibility up and working. Let's see. Good to hear. Focus on important stuff. We try to. Thank you. We really try to. Angular is my life. I can't live without Angular on this earth. Oh, that's so nice. We are glad that it's supportive to you. Oh, okay. So Laura says there is a way to do it with v17.05. I have not tested the plugin lately, so I don't know for sure, but that could be there. Let's see. We can get pure Vite plugin for Angular builds. Oh, well, Jeremy just talked about that. When can we get? Yeah. I don't know if there's a way to do that yet.
Yeah, it's not something like, just again, like based on the way Angular works today, it's not something that's really doable today.
Yeah. Evgeny does not like your game. Oh, that's pretty funny.
What about the game?
He just said, "What a game!" That's pretty funny though. Web component. Oh, this is interesting. Have we talked anything at all internally about web components support without custom element schema?
Yeah, I want to do this, but it's something that just ends up like it's in the backlog, we'll say, and it just ends up being always lower priority than other projects we're working on, and it's definitely doable. So I can get into a little bit into the weeds here, but
you don't have to, because we have so many questions we're behind. So
well, I'll say the short version of it is that in order to do type checking correctly for custom elements, right, you would need to have DTS files for those custom elements, which is doable. But there's also kind of this thing we would want to do is like use the TypeScript provided DTS files for our normal DOM stuff as part of that as well. And we don't actually do that today. We have our own custom typings for DOM APIs, and they are very slightly different than the TypeScript provided ones. And so switching them would actually be a breaking change, and we would need to do some sort of migration for it. So that is kind of like, there's this upfront cost to be able to support better, like more like particular fine-grained type checking for custom elements, such that you don't just like turn type checking off for them. Also, I acknowledge the naming of custom element schema is weird, right? It should just be like a Boolean that is like allow custom elements instead, because the original idea of that API many years ago was that like, you'd be able to provide some schema here that has the type information for this. And what we have learned or like realized in the years since that was introduced is like, you don't actually need an API in the component for it. You just need to include the typings for those custom elements in your types for the TypeScript compilation, and then it can just use the normal type checking mechanism.
All right, my default approach for components, they do routing, style, standalone. Okay. I would say this, you do not have to do standalone equals true anymore because by default, it will be there for using V17 and above. And I think you can cut this down and use some of the single letter abbreviations for some of these things. Like I know that I started doing, if I generate like a component, right? I'll generate with lowercase s, capital S, and lowercase t. So yeah, lowercase s, capital S, lowercase t, and then that's like inline styles, inline templates, and one other thing I forgot what it was, but yeah, that kind of helps me. 17 is great. 17 is great. How do y'all like our new brand? Like a new brand identity? Like how y'all liking that? I mean,
I love the vaporwave look.
What's that, Jeremy?
I love the vaporwave aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. I like what we got, and I think that what was really interesting, there were people who were just really concerned that we're going to like rewrite Angular, and they're like, oh, it's going to be a Angular 2 all over again, and then it was the opposite. It was just better Angular that you got, which is great. Oh yeah, man, Lars is on top of it. I'm like 15 minutes behind on comments, so that's probably why. But yeah, Lars, that's right. You don't even need to do the standalone anymore. Hello from Ethiopia. What's going on? Let's see. What else? Okay, more questions. All right, I will send Minko the greeting from Sophia. Okay, I will let him know, Pecco. I built up apps using Angular. Now I want to start to contribute to Angular. I clone repo, start to understand Angular core. Please, I want to understand how end-to-end works. Easy resource. What? How end-to-end, how it works. So, Jeremy, I want your feedback here, but I actually wouldn't look at trying to figure out the entire system at the same time versus picking an area and then learn how that part works, and then maybe contributing there if that's what's interesting for you.
Yeah.
Like learn how routing works. And then if you want to contribute to the router, maybe you can do something like that. But we love that you want to contribute. That's awesome. That's so awesome.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that trying to figure out especially like Angular core and the main part of the framework that does, dependency injection and queries and rendering and change detection, all that stuff is actually quite complicated and very sensitive is maybe a word, right? Like it is, there's a lot of deliberate choices that are made that can make it challenging to work on that. But definitely things like router and forms, like they're maybe a little bit more approachable, but still like they are still complicated, and a lot of the behaviors are quite load bearing. I think one of the things people it's easy to not realize is that because there are thousands of applications using these APIs inside of Google, we know right away if we make even a small change that breaks someone's application or breaks someone's test.
Yeah.
And people can depend on things in ways that are kind of unexpected and brittle, but we can't really break them anyway. There's this notion it was created by a Google employee some time ago called Hiram's Law, which is that any observable behavior of some code will eventually be depended upon by consumers of that code. I'm paraphrasing, but that's kind of the gist. And so a lot of what's going on in Angular is like implicitly depended on by applications. And so it's very challenging to make changes in a way that's not breaking. And so looking for opportunities to contribute that are not breaking in that way is really good, but also just having the patience to know that there's going to be some challenges with dealing with breaking changes like that. Now, all of that said, I do very much want to add a new section to the new doc site, angular.dev, that is documentation on how Angular works, because I think we don't really get too deep into that today.
That's
and
true.
I would like to explain it more and even add some diagrams about like what's going on under the hood with change detection and everything like that.
Jeremy, let's talk offline to see how I can support you on that. And I know one of your limitations is bandwidth because you're so busy, but I don't know, maybe I can help.
As I sit here spinning around.
This is your safe space to escape. Wait, do you remember all the comments we would get at the beginning? Like, why don't you guys go do some work? I get so mad that you
Yeah,
get
I have a
crazy.
lot of documentation I want to do. I want to like rewrite the template guide. I've started on a draft of that, but
Yeah.
rewrite the router guide and the how Angular works stuff. I want to add more tutorials. It's just like so much stuff to do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely want to add more. I'm going to add more tutorials. I had a lot of fun making the ones that we have right now for angular.dev. Had a lot of fun there. I want to add some more, but I also want to help support others adding tutorials too, just of content areas. Like I think a router tutorial that is focused on the router, because one of the things that we're running into or will run into with Angular now is that we're getting a lot of people who are new to Angular, and then they're looking at it like, oh yeah, you know, there's so much to learn. I'm like, well, yeah, this is a very robust platform. And so how do we make that path for people such that they could like learn about it without being overwhelmed? That's an interesting thing to kind of solve for, because you can do a lot without anything. Well, no, that's the wrong thing to say. That doesn't make any sense. You can do a lot without most of the advanced features. But then when you're ready for that advanced feature, I don't want to feel so overwhelming. So that's an interesting thing to have to figure out. Let's see. Does ng update migrate angular.json to the newest format? I noticed my projects that opted into preview of Vite ES build dev server weren't migrated to the new default builder. ng serve shows warnings.
I actually don't know the answer to that. I
Yeah.
think that there is. I know we don't yet have a migration for going from the Webpack based builder to the
Yeah.
ES build one. But if you're creating a new app with ES build, that should be fine. But if you're migrating, I don't think there is a migration yet.
All right. We're going to speed run because we're so behind. Oh, man. So many comments came in. Okay. Oh, cool. Way to go, Angular. New logo ingredient looks awesome and futuristic. Well, we are awesome and futuristic, so thank you for noticing. Let's see. What the Angular team will surprise all of us with in the new year? Arthur, well, I'll tell you, there are things. Whoa, what are you doing? Like racing?
I'm shield surfing.
So this just feels like a kid-friendly Zelda.
Yes, so that's exactly what this is that this little gator is going around playing with his friends pretending to play Zelda.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Or I'll say similar to, but legally distinct from Zelda.
Yeah. So I wish I knew about this game before I started Breath of the Wild, because it doesn't have too much like violence that's, inappropriate for a kid. It's still violent, you still fight things and you shoot monsters with arrows and stab them with sharp swords. So things to think about. We got a lot of surprises coming up. We're working on a lot of stuff we can't tell you, or it wouldn't be a surprise, Arthur. Sorry, but we are working on stuff. Oh, okay. Why standalone bootstrap different zone options to module bootstrap? Breaks our app going to standalone?
It shouldn't be different zone options.
Yeah.
I don't know what those would be.
Jordan, is this the thing that you were talking about on Twitter? Is that it? Let us know. Yeah, let us know. All right. Doing my best to catch up, friends. Okay, let's see this one. ng serve with server.ts is backend instead of Vite backend. What?
Yeah, I don't understand the question.
Shady XYZ Gaming. Is there something else you mean? Like, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you mean there. Okay, how can I handle authentication now when we work with accessor so we can't access the browser, local storage, and sessions?
Yeah, that is definitely a problem that needs to be solved, but that is something we don't really. That's not something that's like in the scope of Angular itself. There are, different ways to go about it. I don't know that we're the best people to give advice on that, though. I think.
Yeah. Can you explain the question for everyone?
I mean, so when you're in your browser, right, you have an authentication mechanism, so to speak, like cookies, right?
Oh, sure. Okay, sure.
And like you don't have that stuff when you're on the server. And so if you've built your application to rely on those things, then you need to figure out some other authentication scheme on the server to make requests. So it's not something that really we would, handle for you. That's just kind of an application level problem to solve.
I'm taking note about this one because what I could think could be interesting is talking with the SSR team and seeing if they thought about it, having any ideas. I don't know if we'll ever have an answer that we could tell you, but at least we can find out more and point you maybe in a direction. I don't know, but I want to take note of that one and make sure. All right, let's keep going. This is a good question. Is to signal a foot gun? And so what that is, friends, is that we have an API for signals is that you can take an observable and convert it to a signal. So if an observable errors, it'll cause issues, right?
I actually don't remember off the top of my head what that behavior is. I think like I would hope that it actually just like throws that error and you have to deal with it in some way. But
Yeah.
I don't remember off the top of my head the way it works. Someone like Alex or Pavel or someone else on the team might be able to talk for a long time about this, but I'm not the best equipped for it.
Sure. Any news from the CDK team?
Yeah.
Any exciting plans there?
We're hoping in the next year to work on some new CDK primitives for tabs and combo box at least, and maybe more, but those are things we're hoping to work on.
Love that. Okay, let's see. Will browser is built go away and application builder go the way to go from now on, even if we only need CRS?
I don't know that I understand the question. What I can say is, like, I'm not sure if this is about ES build versus Webpack or about something else.
I don't know the answer to that. That one I actually don't know. Let's see. Okay, we got that one. Man, you all are asking so many great questions. Hey, yo, Starving Musician in the building. What's up? Good to see you. What about Angular plus Hacktoberfest next year? I don't know. Didn't we do Hacktoberfest one time? And then it was like weird because everybody was like opening up like fake PRs.
What happened is like GitHub was like, we'll send anyone a t-shirt. He sends a PR during Hacktoberfest. And so we just got flooded with like really bad PRs that like changed the spelling of things in docs or changed words arbitrarily. And it was really annoying. And so we opted out of Hacktoberfest.
I see.
So I don't know. Like it's definitely work in order to support a Hacktoberfest. Like in an ideal world, like, yeah, we'd love to do stuff like that. But it takes a lot of work to manage contributions like that and do code reviews and make sure that the changes aren't breaking and run the tests inside of Google. And it's, it's just kind of costly. And we also have like other projects going on that we're trying to focus on. So it's not just like a yes straight out the box.
I got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Someone would have to take ownership of it and be like, yeah, I'm going to run Hacktoberfest.
I don't know. I put that, that's one of the things that could be cool. But thanks for the question. Good to have you in the stream again. Mark, thank you for talking to me directly, Ninja. I appreciate the love and attention here. Would you recommend controlled syntax for newbie Angular developers? Would this help them in the job market compared to learning traditional syntax? I actually like your context here. about what it means for people who are jumping into new Angular roles at existing organizations or people who are just learning Angular. I think that you learn both. And I'll tell you why. You still learn the new stuff because as people start to update, because remember, right now we have like this really high number of like 80% of like major customers who use Angular. I think it's like 80% are within the last 2 versions. So if we do 2 versions a year, by this time next year, people will like 80% of the customers will be updated to 17, right? And so then that means if you are jumping to a job, you may see more of this. And we're giving out migrations to help people migrate. So you should definitely learn the new thing. And yeah, I would say start there. I still would say start there because it's so good and so understandable. And then if you have to learn the NG-if and NG4 later, I think you pick it up. But good question. All right, let's see here. Something cool happened yesterday. Did you hear about IDX? They launched their blog.
IDX, that's the editor, right?
Yeah, they launched their blog.
That's cool.
That is cool. I'm gonna put it in the chat because I like that. IDX launched their blog. That's awesome.
Yeah,
good for them.
I mean, you know my thoughts on editors.
Yes, if it's not, wait, don't tell me. I know the name of it. Gosh, it's the one from JetBrains. If it's not the JetBrains one, you don't really care.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the one for Angular? WebStorm. There you go. It's not for Angular, but it's their web version. So I'm gonna tell you this, Jeremy. When I was doing Flutter development for quite some time, when I was only doing Flutter, I remember like switching from VS Code to Android Studio, which is still WebStorm-esque, right? It's the same kind of like tool.
Yep.
I remember being blown away with how powerful it was. It was incredible how powerful it was. I actually loved it. But then when I went back to web development, I just really liked VS Code because it's so like straightforward.
Yeah, I really just like I'm my most productive when I'm just like in the flow in WebStorm.
Yeah,
working with some music. What music do you listen to when you code?
Oh, great question. I love that question. Oh no, I just locked myself out of my computer. Hold on. Because I set up a hot corner and then I went to click on the link of what I was listening to. All right, this is not an endorsement, but what I listen to when I write code is brain.fm. So it's like binaural music, AI generated by neural music. I've been using this for like years and years and years. So I usually do that if I have to think like critically. If I have like less cognitively demanding tasks, I'll put on some like heavy metal. Right, my number one band of 2023 turned out to be this band called Gideon and their latest album. And so I listen to heavy metal a lot, or the doom. Okay, so let's say that I'm under pressure because I got a lot to do, right? But underneath that driving force, I listen to the Doom soundtrack, the one from 2016. It is so good. Oh, it is so good. That was my YouTube music recap number one artist in 2022. Anyway, so between those two things, and then if I'm like more relaxed, things don't require like really intense focus, then I'll listen to like, R&B, hip hop. What about yourself?
I have a lot of things I like switch between. So things like Rodrigo and Gabriela. Really like that's good high energy stuff. 65 Days of Static. It's all one word, all lowercase, like a Wi-Fi password. They did the soundtrack to No Man's Sky, which I have not played, but the soundtrack is a real banger. Great for coding too. And similar to like 65 Days of Static, there's like Taiko and Explosions in the Sky. That's just kind of this like ambient
post-rock?
Ambient instrumental rock. Yeah.
Explosions in the Sky. I love that band actually. The World Is Not a Cold Place or something like that is my favorite. Is that the name of that album? Let's see, explosions in the sky, the world. The world it's not a cold dead place. Yes, that album is so good. I learned about that album because of this one motivational speaker. His like number one speech of all time. He used explosions in the sky in the background, and it's so good. Anyway, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. I'll often also listen to like remixed video game music.
Sure.
So like lo-fi versions of things. There's like these albums like Zelda and Chill, like, and then there's like 1, 2, and 3 of those. Just like lo-fi
Cool.
version of Zelda music. That's great to listen to.
Let's see, Zelda
Lots
and
of
Chill.
lots of remixes of like Undertale stuff, right? Like that has a lot of high energy things, which are good. Ooh, this one, I'm gonna let's see. I don't know how to paste this. I'm gonna put this in the chat, the actual YouTube chat. Because I don't want to mispronounce it, but there's this artist I think like makes absolutely great like music to listen to, Adrian Berenguer.
Oh, put it in, yeah.
An artist from Spain that I just really enjoy. That has like great music to code to.
Fantastic. Yeah, I want to check out all this stuff. I'm opening tabs for everything that you're saying.
Yeah, Rat-a-tat, another good one. Although they haven't put out an album in a long time, I should look into what's going on with them.
Do you like Pliny by any chance?
Say it again.
Pliny, Plini.
I have never heard of them as a band. I know of Pliny the Elder, which is a historical figure who wrote an insane book about made-up medicine.
No. That's not what I'm talking about at all. Pliny, Plini. If you like explosions in the sky, you might like Pliny, even though Pliny's not post-rock, it's more like progressive metal. But it's still super good, and it's like really good just music to code to. Man, look, what about you, friends at home? What are y'all listening to when you do some coding and stuff? All right, I know people are like, answer our real questions. I don't want to talk about your music taste, but this is a relaxed one. Let's see. Judiciary. I think I've heard of them. I can't call out their music though. Judiciary, but I will put it on my open tab here. Yeah, Judiciary. So my dream. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you all a funny story. This is a true story. One time, my kid was like, "Hey, Dad, I want to listen to this song," and he couldn't like remember the name. I was like, "Well, tell me what it sounds like." He goes, and I was like, "Oh, you want to hear, you want to hear something like that? Okay, cool, we got it." And that made me so proud that like he wanted to hear some like metal with some like, deeper like guttural vocals. Yeah.
Play him some baby metal.
I did. Give Me Chocolate. It's one of his favorite songs. Wait, okay. So speaking of baby metal and that adjacent genre, tell me why somebody introduced me to New Jeans on Twitter, and it's like K-pop like / R&B, and I am obsessed. I'm not gonna lie to you. I listened to like their whole discography yesterday, just on like on shuffle as I was making some slides and stuff.
Say the name again.
New Jeans.
New Jeans. I'm gonna open a tab for that.
Yeah, it's if you like K-pop and like R&B style music, but it's like it's really energetic. It could almost be in like an anime or maybe a like video game. You know what I mean? But it's not too. I don't know. You just listen to it and you just tell me what you think.
All right, I got it.
Wait. FGD still don't like that game. Oh, why don't you like this game? It's beautiful art.
It's fun. It's like it reminds me a lot of A Short Hike, where it's just kind of like a chill relaxation and vibing game.
I love it. Emmanuel says I jam to Sonic music. Okay, Sonic 2 soundtrack is amazing.
Oh my gosh. I played that when I was a kid, man. I loved that game. That like the first song where you're like skateboarding down the hill in the city.
Sonic 2 is amazing. I just got chills thinking about it. I'm not kidding. I got chills thinking about the Sonic 2 and then like being a kid and playing that, getting it for Christmas. That was pretty good. Okay. How would you convince others in 3 sentences that Angular is the best long-term choice. I'll give my 3 sentences, and then I want to hear Jeremy's 3 sentences. So I'll tell people this. First sentence is depends on what you're building and if it fits what you want for your team. The things that we're really strong at, if they fit what you need, then it will be a great long-term choice. How do we know for long-term? Well, think about how we've supported our current customers over time. Like Angular is not a spring chicken, right? Like it's not like the new hotness from yesterday. And we've continued to support and build. And the way we support and build, this is more than 3 sentences, but now I'm gonna give you everything. And the way that we continue to support and build is interesting because as we evolve the platform, we don't force your hand into upgrading. So you continue to get improvements at your pace, right? As you're ready. And I think that that's a really important thing. You get security updates, but you don't have to get like signals if you're not ready. Okay, that was a lot more than 3 sentences. What would you say, Jeremy? 3 points that you make to people to make Angular the best long-term choice for them.
I feel like I'm just going to echo a lot of what you say, right? So, I think that I'll talk about what we endeavor to do, right? We endeavor to make sure that Angular is stable and predictable so that you have kind of clear support expectations about what you're getting and that Angular is there for the long haul. This is, again, more than 3 sentences, but we intend to, Google builds a lot of things on Angular, and so Google has a vested interest in making sure it's well supported and that there's a thriving open source community around it. We have our support policies right around like LTS releases and everything like that, and that we're just very committed to continuing to evolve the framework over time and to try to bring as much of the ecosystem along for the ride as we can.
Yeah, that's excellent. I love that. I'm getting back to the music because that makes me so happy. Let's see. I'm 54, so I listen to late 70s, early 80s punk like Minor Threat, Circle Jerks, etc. Let's go. Lars, I love that energy. That is awesome. Wait, Starving Musician says VS Code is for kids. Hey, only Warp Storm. I know you're just kidding around, but that's pretty funny. But with 118 beats per minute music, some DJ house music. Let's go, Starving Musician. That sounds awesome. Love some good stuff. Oh, I'll put this in the chat, but this is not an endorsement. I got to be super clear about that. They did not pay us or give us anything to do. This is just what I use. It's called brain.fm, and I'll put that in the chat. I found out about them probably like 4 or 5 years ago, and I've been using them ever since. Just my personal testimony about using it. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, Baby Metal, Give Me Chocolate is such a good song. I tried to find more of their music, but I couldn't find like more complete catalogs, unfortunately. But I do want to see them in concert. If they ever come to the States and do like a tour, I would pay the full ticket price just to be in the room when they transition to Give Me Chocolate. When that comes on, just to be in the electric environment. That just feels like it'd be such a great thing. So really cool stuff. Speaking of games, James Foreman says, are there any 3D libs for Angular? Yeah, there's 3JS for Angular made by one of our GDEs. Let's see if we can get the link for 3JS and Angular. Child makes that. Angular, let's see, can I find that? Uh-oh. This might not go the way I want to. I just typed in 3JS. Wait, I promise you, there's let's see, I'm gonna put his name in there. And I always feel like I'm saying his name wrong, but I hope I don't. Oh, Angular 3, not 3JS. Angular 3. Angular 3. They got okay, let's see if you can find it. I can find links to everything. Oh, I found it. Okay, yeah. So there is a 3JS. Wait, what? I don't know how to find this thing, man. Okay, now I kind of give up because the link that I found on the internet is archived, but I know that this project is still alive. Okay, good job updating the repo README. I like that because then I could find it. Okay, Angular 3. Okay, found it for you. I'm gonna put it in the chat. All right, let's see. So many comments. Let's keep going. Okay, let's see. Hey, can you do also for operator in the future? We already have at 4. So you can do that now. The future is now, Petco. Okay, let's see. Oh, good question. If Jeannie's asked, do we have any plans to publish signal-based forms in router?
Well, I'm just laughing at this game.
I know it's so delightful, the little fall down the
So I have this item that I made, the ragdoll, and when you use it, you just go full ragdoll.
It's so cute though. It's so cute. Man, Jeremy, do you remember in like video game like history when ragdoll physics became the thing?
I remember the Force Unleashed being like, it was supposed to be this thing that was like, oh, look at these like incredible physics of bodies as you like toss them around the environments with the Force.
Mm-hmm. It's incredible. I remember so many like, so friends at home, what you don't know about me is that my career in engineering, like my first aspiration was actually be a full-time video game programmer. And that's what I want to do completely. So I was really tapped into like the advancements in technology. And I was around when, you just learned some of the stuff that we all take for granted now, but were not like things that were available. Like the look of this game when I started development back in like 97. Like this was not even feasible, right? Like the cell shaded look, we were still just trying to get like sprite based UIs and stuff done. And then like now you do sprite based games on purpose, when back then that's the only choice you had, which is really interesting, right? That it's okay. Let's answer Evgenie's question though.
The answer
This
is
a good
yes,
question.
like eventually, but there are a lot of things that have to happen first.
Yeah, and they'll happen over time. Oh, Giannis asked a good question. And big shout out to the NBA for teaching the world how to say this name properly, right? Because of Giannis Antetokounmpo, like we all can say Giannis and like know how to like say it. Shout out to the NBA. Hello, is there a scope for implementing at input or at output in signals if we choose not to use RxCS anymore? We
Yeah,
covered this in the RFC too, so you can get some details there. But Jeremy, go ahead, ask some ideas here.
yeah, go check out the RFC. Signal-based inputs is one of the projects we are actively working on at this very moment.
Woo! Active, get active.
Although I will say outputs, there's no need, like outputs won't be signal-based, right? Like
Yeah,
the signals are not events, right? Whereas outputs are events, and so they're kind of two separate things. Ooh, is that a chest up there? I think
it is. But I'll never forgive the team for not accepting my proposal for the update to admit. But that's all right. I will forgive y'all because I know it was the best for the team, but still. Yeah.
Well, we might still get there yet.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. We'll see. But I don't have any high hopes because I've learned to accept that we're not going that way. All right. Implementing a custom control value accessor is still somewhat complicated. Can we make this better? Can we make it simpler? Any plans for that?
That would probably be something that was part of a larger like overhaul of the forms system, and I don't know, like that's something we would like to do, but it's a really big undertaking, so I don't know when we would get there. But definitely we acknowledge that there are places in the form system that are kind of clunky today.
All right. But wait, let's see. Why are you chopping up? What's that statue mean?
And that's a kid.
Oh, he's alive?
I think. I don't know. I can't tell.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Buddy is like, oh, I like the little sock cap. That's one thing that bothers me about the this one game, Breath of the Wild. To get the sock cap in the traditional Link outfit, you got to find all of the Korok seeds, like all of them, and there's like hundreds. And I don't know if I got that much patience.
There's other ways to get variations of that outfit.
No, I want the green one.
There are other green ones. Like I think you could get them with amiibos.
See, I don't have an amiibo, so
You can there are ways. There are ways.
He's like, don't give up hope. Okay, so you say support module, but standalone bootstrap is different to module. It can affect zoneless apps. Well, we do. Okay. So is this a question about how we do bootstrap application versus, platform browser, bootstrap, blah, blah, blah? Is that like the difference here we're talking about?
So yeah, I mean, Bootstrap application and Bootstrap module, they're both bootstrapping your application and they are slightly different. The thing that I'm unclear on is like, I don't know, there shouldn't be anything different about the way zones are configured between the two. So if there is, then it's not something I'm aware of.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, so let's see. What's better, to use constructor to provide services or the new inject syntax instead?
TBD.
TBD.
We're still discussing on the team what we want to recommend for dependency injection. There's some trade-offs that we're considering and expect to see something in the future on a recommendation here.
Yes, you will see something in the future. Yep, agree with that. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is a good question, and I think I know the answer to this. But in the future, will the Angular team create a state management API?
We don't have any immediate plans to do that because we think that there's a lot of community enthusiasm around state solutions for things like NGRX, NGXX, RX Angular, and so on. And so we think a lot of this need is kind of being met by the community already. I wouldn't rule it out forever, but it's not in our immediate plans.
Okay, so let's ask a different question while we're on this topic. Could we make a recommendation as to what could happen right now if you do not want to use a third-party library? Could you do a service with a signal in it as your state?
You can. Nothing would be stopping you from doing that.
Is there any gotcha that we could think of? See, right now that reminds me of a place where you would find a Korok seed, right where you were standing. Put a rock on that circle. Sorry, this reminds me so much of Zelda. All right, but is that an anti-pattern or anything like that? If someone wants to grab a signal right now and put it in a service and let that be their state management,
that is just having signals in services is a something that is fully intended for Angular signals, and that's something we wanted to make sure that was viable. We didn't want to end up with a solution where you could only use signals inside of components and directives.
Which makes it special, though. I will say that when I look at signals, I'm like, this makes it special that you can use it in your application and not just in your template. No, totally. All right, let's see. Angular is awesome. Firebase is great, but I have to keep asking for Angular Fire updates. I know, Steve. Including documentation tutorials. You know what's really hard, Steve? There's so many great things to do on Angular right now. There's so many great areas. I will say this, and I don't mean this in a sarcastic way. I promise you, this is very sincere. This could be a great way to contribute to Angular, is to add on the documentation side or tutorials. That's the thing that, because we're open source, you could do that. You could totally write a tutorial for that. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. I'm not saying you have to do that. I know everyone's busy. Totally acknowledge that. But I'm just saying that's the thing that's possible. Okay, so I just realized what you're doing, Jeremy, that when you fight in those cardboards, those are supposed to represent the enemies.
Yeah.
But they don't fight back, which I wish I had this game 6 months ago, because this has been great for the kiddo. Let's see. Is it possible to build and combine parts of Angular using plain JS WP5? Menus, creating Angular, other stuff is JS. I think that's WordPress 5 and combined together. Can you combine WordPress and Angular?
I guess. I haven't tried.
Yeah, I haven't tried either. This could be one of those pet projects that when we do our community demo day, we'd love to see if this tries it. Try it out, starving musician. Just let us know what happens, because it could be possible, and I just don't know what to do, but it could be possible. Oh, okay. How about this from Mania Karma? Karma Mania? Name's upside down. I don't know if that's good for accessibility because I can't even read that. Okay. Any plans for accessing global variables in templates?
Yeah, I'm going to be pedantic on this. Is rather than saying global variables, we would say um, right now the lexical scope of template expressions is the class instance, and
Uh-huh.
there is interest in making it so that you can have templates for which the lexical scope is the JavaScript module of the component.
Yeah. The JavaScript module, not the ng module. JavaScript module.
Yeah. So like when we say global, right, we want to make sure we're not talking about the like window object, right? You definitely wouldn't want to like be binding to things on like window in your templates. It is something like we definitely know is a pain point of, especially for enums, right? Enums are kind of like the biggest culprit here. And then constants as a close second of like things you just want to reference in your template without having to put them on the class instance. And like, yes, we are thinking about it and how to make that a reality. We don't have anything like concrete yet in terms of plans.
Okay. Google Bard is not much aware of Angular v17. Is there anything you would do about this? Maybe your or both companies. Oh, because we work at the same place. Because it's Google. We don't have direct influence over this. But if something comes up where we can influence it, I think we will do our best.
Yeah, I think the information that goes into training Bard is very much a secret sauce kind of thing. So I have absolutely no insight to where that comes
Yeah, that's
from.
what I'm saying. If something comes up to where we can influence it, I'm sure we will. All right, let's see. So many questions. Y'all are just busy. Oh, am I the creator or is Germany the creator of Angular? No, we're not the creators. Angular is made by Mishko Hevery and Igor Minar. Both were Googlers at the time when they created Angular. Yeah, good question though. Oh, that's why you said this came out of nowhere. This must be your first time hanging out with us. Well, welcome. Okay, that puts context to one of your previous comments. Cool. All right, let's see. Oh, that's interesting.
Look at the way the legs churn when you're.
Yeah, it's a little kid.
Yeah,
It's what kids do. But I like how the shape on the back of the flag is a flag, like cloak thing you're floating down on. It's close enough to being Zelda without being Zelda, right?
Mm-hmm. Similar to, but legally distinct from.
Right. Wait, where's that from? There's a TV show that has something like that in it.
I stole that joke from Will Wheaton on his YouTube show Tabletop, where they were talking about the board game King of Tokyo, which has a creature that is similar to but legally distinct from Godzilla.
Wait, Will Wheaton, as in the voice actor?
Yes.
Who read Ready Player One and a host of other books?
Yeah, is that where you mostly know him from?
I do know him from Ready Player One, which is my favorite book of all time.
But yeah, he's mostly famous for being on Star Trek as a teenager.
What?
Yeah,
that's awesome. No, his voice is so distinct, and he's the voice of, like I said, he narrated Ready Player One, which I love that book.
Yeah, he also is he does the audiobooks for most of John Scalzi's novels.
I just listened to. I finished Locked In, and I'm on the second one right now.
Oh, I love that series. I think it's really good.
Yeah, what's the second one called?
Lock In. There's Head On.
Head On. I'm on Head On right now, and I'm almost done with it because Head On's much shorter than Locked In, though.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of John Scalzi. I just read just a few weeks ago. I read his new book, Starter Villain, which it's like a fun short read.
Yeah. Is there more books to the Lock In series?
There are
just Head On.
There are 3.
All right. Okay.
One of them is there's 2 novels, and then there's one. It's not quite a novel. I'm not sure what you would call it.
Like a novella.
It's not even it's not structured like a novel or a novella. It's structured as a series of interviews. It's like a fake documentary in written form.
Kind of how World War Z starts off, where it's all about interviews. Yeah.
Exactly. I guess you could say that it is a novella in that narrative format. I guess that would be fair to say.
All right, now don't get me started talking about like nerd culture and like all these like fantasy and sci-fi books.
Isn't that
See,
why we're here?
I mean, that's why I'm always here, but I think it also catches people off guard when they find out that I like so much like culture like that. People don't expect that out of me for some reason. Maybe because, you know, I'm so cool. You know, just like, man, I'm just kidding. But seriously, people don't know that I like so much of that stuff. My favorite genre probably of like content, if it's a book, I really like sci-fi and fantasy books the most.
Yeah, that's basically all I read.
Yeah.
I struggle whenever I read nonfiction. I'm like, man, why are there any wizards in this?
Yeah, I mean, I do like a mystery. Like so if I can get a book that has like a mystery in it, but that's pretty good. Oh, so many questions. All right, we're gonna speed run these last 14 questions. Okay. Because we only have like 10 minutes left.
Okay. All right. I'll pay less attention to the game and
Yeah.
lightning round. I saw a question about Ivy. There is no Ivy anymore. It's just Angular now.
It's just Angular. You should need to know about it, but we'll get back to that one. Angular needs to develop a prototyping tool for Bootstrap. Like Bootstrap to CSS, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know what that Bootstrap as in the JavaScript library Bootstrap or Bootstrap as in like starting up an application.
Yeah, who made Bootstrap again? I forgot who that was.
Twitter.
I forgot about that. They made the Bootstrap. Bootstrap was huge. It was a juggernaut in the CSS space. Okay. Let's see. Any updates? Speaking of CSS and styles, good.
Yeah. We answered this one already. We're working on the latest update of material design. It's in progress. It's hard.
Yep, hard, but we're working. Okay, let's see. Hello from Mexico. How to implement effective Angular material in this new version 17?
There's nothing special about V17 with Angular material. Just keep using it the same way.
Okay.
Don't override the styles. It's really the cardinal rule of using a component library is avoid overriding the styles.
Are there any plans to add meta tag data to the route definition like title strategy? Oh, that's interesting.
No active plans, but it's definitely a feature worth considering.
Let's see. Currently, services are either global or tied to a component. Is there any plan to get service to provide itself to children, and if parent is destroyed, it is cleaned up?
That's not 100% accurate, right?
Yeah.
So services can be global singletons if there's something like provided in root, but when a component or a directive provides a service, it's actually available to all descendants of that component or directive in the application tree. So that would be the way that you would kind of provide it for a subset of your application by using a component or a directive.
Right. And that's all about our dependency injection, like magic, that I had to read and study to help update those docs. All those injectors, baby. All right, let's see. We got that one done. Okay. What's up, Michael? Anything new in the world of reactive forms? Nothing new right now. Stable, typed, all the stuff that the streets were asking for. All right, let's see. Are there any discussions in the Angular SSR space where the developer can decide what components or methods run on the server or not? All like server components almost, maybe?
Yeah, we're talking about stuff like this, right? So, I'll put one idea out there. This is, again, like, this is not saying that this is something we're doing, but something we're talking about. Is like similar to how we introduced the defer blocks in V17. We're wondering if it would make sense to have like an @server block and then having a chunk of thing that's only ever rendered on the server.
Magic. Love for some docs on Ivy. One place trying to match is very hard. The current docs and the repos seem to be outdated. Can you help us better understand what you're trying to do? And then we can probably point you in the right direction.
Yeah. So what I'll say here is that like Ivy was a project, not like a thing we built, right? It wasn't a product, it was a project.
Right.
And so it was kind of like a big overhaul of Angular's internals, and it's done now, right? It's been done, fully rolled out. So there's like really no such thing as Ivy anymore. There's just how Angular works today.
Yeah.
And we kind of talked about earlier that like we would love to write more documentation about how Angular works under the hood. It's just lots of things to do, not enough time to do them all.
Because we are here playing video games. I like a lot of YouTube tutorial Mark building the homes app. Thank you, Mark. Oh, thank you so much. And we're working on what the next generation of that looks like. I know that people have commented and expressed this, where they're saying, "Hey, we love this, but what about the new features?" We're working on an update to the course and to feature some of the new stuff that we're doing. So stay tuned. Remember, I said that for a whole year. I said stay tuned for a whole year. And y'all stay tuned. But this time it won't be a whole year. And I can tell you, I won't give you a date when it'll be out, but the facilities or the resources needed to make this happen have become a little bit more democratized for me to be able to record, if that makes sense. It's just a little bit easier for me to record now, so I can like put stuff together much quicker. And Jeremy and I also work together super duper well. So if there are parts where I'd like to collaborate with him, we just have a really good working relationship that can also speed things up too. Who would have thought that? I'm gonna tell the streets a secret about you, Jeremy. Is that okay?
Yeah.
That I didn't know that you liked me at first.
It's more about you, I think, than me.
That's true. That is about me more than you. But as friends, I didn't know that Jeremy liked me, and he was never mean to me. Let me be super clear. He was never mean to me. He never said anything. But I just was like, yeah, I don't think that I'm like his type of person. And we ended up like getting along famously, and now here we are. Jeremy, this is like what, year 2 of this stream? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I haven't been keeping track.
2 years streaming together. I just sent you our stream schedule for 2024. So there'll be more of us hanging out. All right. I'll say you might have to mute for a second, Jeremy, but you're fine now.
Oh, right. I forgot I'm not on Google Meet, which does noise cancellation.
Yeah, you're fine now, though. You're fine. Will the VS Code language service be able to infer type of as aliases in the new control flow? Right now, if thing pipe async as thing currently does not infer the thing type on hover. Okay, I see that.
That I don't know. File a GitHub issue about that, and maybe I'm not sure if that's a feature request or a bug.
Yeah, definitely follow the issue seriously. Oh, again, contributing to open source. We had a lot of comments about that today. This is a great way to contribute to open source as well. Everything does not have to be a code contribution. A really good reproducible bug or a feature, like those types of information, are super helpful to us, because then we get to know what people need, right? Because we cannot predict all of your needs, right? We go off evidence, and if the evidence is just showing us like, hey, people want this stuff, then we can continue to make decisions. So definitely submit that, please. Okay, I think I sent this, James. The 3D library, Angular 3 is out there. Yeah. Good question.
But also I want to emphasize, like, you don't need Angular specific versions of libraries to use them in an Angular app, right? There's like nothing wrong with using just like 3JS or OGL in an Angular app. You could just do it.
We should show them on a stream. I'm going to write this down. We should show them on a stream how to do that. So that way it can just continue to like support this idea, right? Let's see, show. So it's really non-Angular wrapped versions of libraries and tools, because you know what, I will say that I understand where that question comes from in general, because it does feel like, at least to me, that I need the Angular version of this thing, because I'm not always, it's not super clear how to make that happen. Okay, ride that scooter, bro. Quit playing.
It's broken. I gotta figure out how to fix it.
That's all I wanted to see. I didn't, when I saw the scooter, I just wanted to see you ride it, and now you can't ride it. Not happy. Oh, slime cap. Is that supposed to be like a choo-choo?
I think so, yeah.
That's fun. I like that.
Oh, that's neat.
I like the little rag doll again.
Yeah.
Does the stick break from use or no?
It doesn't seem like it.
But I see you have your little stamina wheel, which is super cute and it's super
Yeah.
like weak. Are the cardboard cutouts more difficult to destroy based on like the area or size?
Yeah, the bigger ones are. Like this one takes a few hits.
Oh, I see. Uh-huh. Very cool. Oh, okay. Let's see. Maybe I'm not right, but someone asked me about 3 great moments in Angular. I would tell them one, AngularJS 2 to Angular plus Angular 16.3, Angular 17. Those are some really great moments. I think the brand revitalization or update that we did is a really great moment for us to just uh, just to represent some things. But I also think the rewrite of Ivy was a really great. Well, the rewrite of Vue Engine with Ivy was a great moment because we did something that was super hard, which was to change the engine while people were still using the framework. Like we never stopped shipping features. We never stopped like all stuff, right? We were still shipping features and people were still using it. And we were like, yeah, we're going to change it in the middle. And we did, which is just a really big moment. I think another big moment that doesn't get the love and support that it deserves is our like commitment to transparency through the roadmap and stuff. Like I don't know. I feel like that changed the narrative for Angular a lot as well, because people knew that we were sharing what we're working on, what we're thinking, where we're going, and it gave the community a new way to experience Angular with us. I think we're on our last few questions. Uh-oh, is my Wi-Fi going bad? Because something just died on my computer. Okay. Oh, okay, we got that. Let's see.
Maybe that's a sign we should start to wrap up.
Yeah, we should. That's what I said. These last few questions, and then we're gonna get on these streets. Which state management library do you recommend? I don't recommend any of them particularly because I just don't have enough experience with them to give you like an objective opinion, even if that exists.
Same answer for me.
Yeah.
We have no recommendations in this regard.
But they're good. I mean, people use them. I've seen, oh, here's what you could do. Papillon or Papillon, depends on how you say that. Check out the ngconf playlist for state management, because here's what you'll find there. You'll find community leaders talking about their stuff. And you might see some talks on NGRX or NGXS or Akita. You know what I mean? And then you get to hear from somebody else that can help you understand better what the options are and what the better choices are for you. Okay, Adis, is there an option to take over Nest projects because it's incredibly similar to the Angular philosophy?
I don't know what you mean by like take over. What I don't know what that means.
Let's answer it in a different way since we're running out of time. What if we thought about it from? What about getting Nest.js? Next is it Next or Nest? Okay, Nest. Oh, Nest. I know what Nest is. I confused it with Next. Nest, I think, was like an Angular version of like a meta framework, right?
Well, it's not. It's its own. It's like a server framework.
Oh,
right,
okay,
and it has some kind of like developer experience similarities to Angular.
But you can use Angular with this because I do remember.
Yeah.
People talking about it. Yeah. And then when can we take it over? Now, so the best thing that I think that we can do, and Jeremy, help me say the right best things here, is make sure that we can, maybe we can communicate with them as we're making changes, see if there's things that we're doing that could be helpful to them. But I don't think that we'll ever be like, oh, we're going to become the maintainers of this library. Never say never, but I don't know the answer to that. I don't think that's a thing we're looking into.
Yeah, like it's we got our hands full with just Angular.
Yeah, but I understand the desire here. Yeah, but if you're looking for a meta framework, there's stuff out there like Analog right now is gaining a lot of steam. Check out Analog if that works for you. Okay, I was on an internship. They used Three.js with Angular to make AR games to teach kids about bees in Minnesota. It worked really well without any Angular specifics. Very cool, Michael. Very cool. Thanks for that feedback. Okay. What do you wish the Angular community did that they don't do enough? Oh, I have some answers to this. And it's not about doing and they don't do enough, right? But here's something that I think could be cool if it happened. I'll say it that way because I think you all do tons. So I don't want to like misrepresent that. You all do amazing. I would love to see more people submit talks to conferences from the Angular community and get out there and talk more about some of the things that you love about Angular and about where Angular things are. I've heard the feedback that it's hard to get conference talks accepted on Angular, but I also think that's because those organizers may not have had as much experience, or not experience, sorry, they may not have as many submissions for Angular talks. So submit talks, get out there and talk about Angular and let people know kind of what's going on, because you folks have been enjoying all the glorious updates for a long time. And I think it'd be cool if other people got to enjoy them as well. What about you, Jeremy?
No, I think that's a good answer. I don't know that I have something else.
Oh, what else could be cool? Continue to contribute. I think that it could seem a little scary to contribute to open source. I'll tell you the honest to goodness truth. Before joining Google, it was intimidating to me to contribute to open source. And then I found out that it's actually not bad at all. And once you get, the more you do it, the better you become at it. Surprise, surprise. Once you get more familiar with the workflows and how to like get things done. And like now I don't feel the same like trepidation as I felt before. So that's another cool thing to do. Get started. All right, we got to do a rundown of the last kind of comments, and then we're gonna start calling it a day, because we've been on. This is one of our long. It's our last stream of the year, so we've been on for a while. Feel Good says, love the Angular direction. Thank you. Matthew says, yeah, what's up, Matthew? Let's do server blocks. Oh, before you go, I think you've converted Evgeny here to this game. He says, use the ragdoll again just for fun.
Gotta get out of this conversation.
Let's see, forums invitation. Let's see, Facebook smiley. So many people, so many comments. Yay. We did not commit to new forms. Stop that, Matthew.
You just like also like jump up on top of this, I think.
Let's see. Shout out to Matthew. Thank you for coming by and hanging out with us. Matthew's a great contributor. Really great. Really great. Ragdoll in the building. Okay, I think I'm caught up on most of the comments because you all were talking to each other, which is great. Thank you for talking to each other. Okay, we did. We used the ragdoll. All right. How do I code on Angular? First off, Manuel, I'm gonna say something to you. Very important. Thank you for hanging out this whole time, because you were here in the beginning and you've just been hanging out. So thank you for that. How do I code on Angular? I mean, go to angular.dev and then go to the playground or go to the tutorial site. And then you can just get started right there in the browser with nothing extra. Shout out to the team for the vision on getting that to do. Let's see. There's quite an interesting tutorial. Hero Small project to get you the whole idea. Yep, that's right. You could try that. You can try the Homes app, which can get you the idea. There's a version of the Homes app that works in the browser that you can like build without an installation. You know, there's a lot out there. Good going. Okay, as we're going to wrap up in the next 2 minutes, I'm going to ask you all you tell us one thing that you would like us to do in the new year. What's one thing on the stream that you would like to see from us in the new year?
I want to see me ragdoll down this slide.
Let's go do it.
Oh, you can't see inside. There we go.
I feel like that's how my kid goes down slides sometimes. I'm not lying to you. Like it's just a. Let's see. What's up, Tanya? Yes, absolutely love the new site and docs. Great job, Angular team. No, great job to you. Thank you for hanging out on the stream, and also thanks for looking at the docs. All right. I asked for the stream, not for the team. You want to see us do what on the stream? That's what I care about. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, that's fun. I like that. See, I like this answer. Convert Tour of Heroes to SSR live. Like, let's just take Tour of Heroes and then like implement SSR by doing ng add at Angular /SSR, and then it'll be working. But we could probably do some other stuff to like optimize it. That could be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of options.
Let's see. Implicit imports. Who wants to code implicit imports on the stream? All right. Jessica's puns. I'm gonna let her know that you said this. I'm gonna let Jessica know that that's what you asked for 2024. More puns on the stream. I'm gonna tell her right now. You've been summoned for 2024. Okay, I'm gonna tell her right now. Super awesome. Oh, that can be fun. Walk through the tutorials live. All right. This is a thing that live code and advanced topics like that. Okay, that's funny. Michael, welcome to the stream. That's funny. All right. Because I was like, oh, on the stream, it was like, yeah, a game where you write the code for implicit imports. That's good. I like that.
Yeah. Implement a game where you write all of the features that I want.
Yeah, that's pretty funny though. I like that. Jessica doing stand-up and puns while coding. She will do that. You haven't been in the meeting with her before. She will do puns like nonstop. That's pretty good. Show how to consume web components. These are all great feedback. That sounds good. Stephen Fluent in the building. Angular Team alumni. Original stream co-host. Yeah. Right? I mean,
Stephen and I did this together
a
long time ago now.
Yeah, no, I'm with that. All right, Stephen, I'm going to take you up on that challenge. I'm going to rebuild the docs live in Rust. That's what's up. Hey, thanks for coming out to hang out, friends. That was so good. All right. Yeah, friends, get out of here. Go and enjoy your weekends. Somebody said it was 2 a.m. when they started, so they're way past their bedtime. Please get some rest. Enjoy the end of the year. So our last stream of the year. It has been so great that every time we show up on this stream, you folks come and hang out with us. And I just can't thank you enough. I'm so grateful. So grateful. Jeremy came up with this idea. He was like, hey, Mark, what do you think about streaming? And I was like, sure. And then you all come and hang out with us, which is amazing. And thank you for that.
All right. See you next year.
All right, Jeremy, plug one thing they should do or know about before they go.
Just anything?
Anything you want.
We should do this. Podcast, Worlds Beyond Number. Best D&D actual play podcast that there is.
All right. I wish we could rate people because somebody said they're switching to a different stream. We should let them switch. Too bad we can't rate right now. Okay, you got the podcast. We said World Beyond Numbers.
Worlds Beyond Number.
Yeah, see that's not my thing. But I will say this because I don't play D&D yet because you won't teach me.
I told you anytime I'll run a game.
I'm always ready. We're waiting on other participants.
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm gonna buy my own dice. Over the holidays. Watch. I'm gonna come back with the first stream with my own dice.
I know Jessica's down. So we gotta fill out the group.
Then let's do a D&D one shot on TV. Oh, and then Kevin says he'll play. Maybe we'll do a D&D one shot just for fun on the stream. Okay. Finally, what would Mark say? What I recommend? Go check out. Oh, there's so many things that I like right now. You check out the new docs. That's fine. For fun, check out the book Head On or the book Lock In. Those both are really great books. Check out Angular documentation. Check out everything Angular related. Watch our live event if you haven't. Give us a thumbs up. Oh, and please, friends, that's all I was forgetting. I knew I was forgetting something. Status JS survey. Definitely do status JS survey and represent for Angular. Okay. That's what's up. Thanks again, friends. Have a wonderful holiday season. Take care of yourselves. Do meaningful things with the people that mean the most to you, and just be sure to just do that. That's a good way to end it. Thanks for your time. Have a good day, friends. Good night, good weekend, and a good new year. Go build great apps. We'll see you next year.